I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the fight, obviously, with Tyson getting ill and stuff like that. But how ready was Tyson for that? I was with him in Texas. I was with him in Vegas in the main and stuff like that. And he looked ready, man. He was a smile on the face. He looked like he was buzzing. He was flying. He was fit. He was healthy. When you were in Vegas with him, man, how was he?
He was good, but we all had COVID.
That's a bastard, eh?
So he wasn't too good. And he might have had it before. I suspect, I don't know, you can't point fingers, but maybe one of the sparring partners he got it from, because he had been feeling a bit run down before we got tested. And then once we got tested, he was the first person to test clear on a antigen test. He was the first one to test clear, so he probably had it previous, before we got it, because we weren't testing clear for a few days, so he was tested quite early, testing clear. So it seems like he's made a good full recovery. I feel great now, even after having it. I had about 4 or 5 days of just being really tired and run down, and he was the same. So that's it. It was a shame. We all were sickened by it, really, because he's been along the line. It's been a long time. He's just wants to fight. Just wants to fight.
That's what I said. It's February last year they fought, but we are going to get it on October. I know you're probably biased in this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How does Tyson win?
I think he'll do it earlier than he did the first time, but I still think it's an extremely dangerous fight, because Wilder will be fresh and highly motivated. He'll probably be buoyant by having a new trainer, learning new things. He's probably, enthusiastic about training now. But I still don't know how he's going to recover mentally from that fight. It's going to take a huge effort mentally to come back from that defeat and the manner of that defeat the first time. And Tyson's just such a good fighter, and his mentality is unbelievable. He's just like Tyson's. He's just a competitor. Like he's a child in a way, because if I said to him, I'm going to run up that mountain, he said, well, you're not going to beat me, And I pushed him to the point of vomiting, but he keeps going. He keeps going. So he's just his mentality is unreal, and for anyone to be around him, it's such a benefit. Yeah.
Well, Andy, I can hear the crowd going nuts with this.
Those are the words of Andy Lee as he explains the COVID situation and the test, and it kind of gives you somewhat of an explanation, of Tyson Fury on the testing. And according to Andy, what I could understand, Tyson Fury tested negative first, okay? And then they tested positive. And then I guess because of the strength of their positive test, they tested him again, and then he ended up positive. So there's probably a lot of back and forth and a lot of interaction between Andy Lee and Tyson Fury and everybody else. Now, I can say that I didn't see Andy Lee out and about. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, he was out and doing this, doing that. But I can say that Joseph Parker was out and about. He was at the Conor McGregor fight. He put it on his social media. You can't unput it on your social media. Even you can take it off, but people still see it with the naked eye like I did, Tyson Fury, we've seen him do the same. Now, the thing is, if Tyson Fury was one of the latest people, which was probably a day, because that's the day, that's the time frame, he still didn't do the right protocol. As he didn't do the right protocol according to the time frame he's supposed to tested positive versus the time frame he was out and about. Okay, it was totally contradicting. It was just like seeing me out, shaking hands and such and doing this and coming in contact with people and taking pictures, and you don't do that. Okay, that's the whole point of social distancing, because you don't know who has it. And more importantly, they don't know if they don't have any symptoms. Okay, so I needed to clear that up. Also, it's not really, the problem is we don't have a time frame on which. Not saying Andy was even keeping up with that. I'm not even sure, but time frames are important. Okay, that's why I'm very, very big on time and time slots. That's why I like to remember dates and what happened that date based on what someone told you on that particular date, because then you can clear things up, because you're like, okay, no, that couldn't be the 8th, because the 8th, just got a live stream. Someone 17 years old died of COVID. Wow. But anyway, it's like, I want to know when, because when people say, oh, I did this on this date, if you don't remember what that date was, it's kind of hard for you for you to put a good barometer to see how accurate that is. Okay. So, but I can say for personal experience, about 4 or 5 days for me is the worst. So, I don't know what 4 or 5 days Tyson Fury had was the worst, but this is what Andy said. So I'm not clearing Tyson Fury, but hearing what Andy Lee said, it makes sense, because you didn't see Andy Lee. You didn't see him out and about. Matter of fact, I haven't seen Andy Lee probably since the face-off that lasted 6 minutes or so. Okay, so I haven't seen him out and about. So I'm not saying that he was in that circle of people that was just exposing or possibly exposing other people. Now, as far as the fight itself, he thinks that Tyson Fury does it quicker. And I think that's based off of what he did last time. But then he didn't overlook Wilder, because Wilder is training. Wilder is serious and motivated. Wilder is motivated about training. And I don't think Wilder really was before. I think Wilder let a lot of people tell him stuff that he wanted to hear. And because of that, he did less. See, the more and more people tell you something you want to hear, the less and less you become motivated by doing something that everyone else believes you can do. See, everybody just thought, hey, you got the magic touch, you God gifted. All you have to do is hit the button like you did in the first fight. After that, good night. Okay, that's all they were doing. So meanwhile, hey, make this about something else. Let's sell this fight. Hey, it's Black History Month, so let's make it about Black History Month. Make Tyson Fury a Black History trivia question, just like he said, and all that. That's putting yourself on a high standard when you're putting yourself as a representative to do something for an entire race of people. That's a lot of pressure, especially when you go in there and get done like he got done. That's embarrassing. So I think that happened most importantly. But Andy's right. Wilder will be more dangerous. He will be more dangerous. He will have a new sense of weaponry. Okay, he won't be all about the right hand, hopefully. Okay, hopefully he won't resort back to that same Wilder that just throws one punch at a time, and that one punch is the best punch that he has. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But it was an interesting interview by Andy Lee. You guys tell me what you think about Andy Lee stating that Tyson Fury finishes Deontay Wilder faster this time. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.